This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Good morning. It is hot time. Summer in the city. Nashville, Tennessee is our home. We're at our new A-Cup house facility here for WSM Radio and CircleCountry.com as you watch. And if you're not watching right now, yeah, there are a lot of different ways you can do it. If you're listening, go, oh, that's right, I can watch them now. Just pull it up. Streaming platforms that you can choose are there at CircleCountry.com, or you can simply watch there. Again, CircleCountry.com, and worldwide, terrestrially at 650 AM WSM and WSMRadio.com. So sitting here in the shadow of the Grand Ole Opry House on the Opry Plaza. Zach Bennett is in for Charlie Mattos this week. We got Annie Nye, our studio director, our GM, Eric Markham, director of production, Martin Fisher's in the house.
Yeah. And
Jeff Roberts is in master control, just above Kelly's head, right? I think
Hi,
somewhere.
Jeff. He's in the building.
And there's Kelly Sutton, who's fresh from a performance as a host at the Grand Ole Opry last night.
You know, it is tempting when you're there late and you just look across the plaza and you're like, I have to be there in just a few hours. Maybe I just roll over and sleep in the break room. I mean, we don't really have the break room ready yet, but once it gets ready, there might be a few mornings when you come rolling in, you're like, oh, Kelly decided to stay here tonight. Well, it was an incredible show last night.
And we've got some highlights from that coming up, some rewind performances. But I also wanted to point out that starting Monday, you hear us talk about Grand Ole Opry tours when you come to the Opry. Well, now WSM Radio's home will be included, the A-Cup house. You can come see us as a part of that tour starting on Monday, and it starts in the Circle Room. And Garth and Tricia greet you, literally.
That's so cool.
Yeah, you'll kind of feel like it's an immersive setting and pre-produced, but it feels so real when they start this whole thing in the Circle Room. And that's where your tour starts. And then you're backstage in dressing rooms and center stage in the historic Circle getting your picture taken, and production facilities. You just have a great time. And now you add to that, when you finish inside the Opry House, you come across the plaza to our home here in the A-Cup house. And you can find out more at the Opry box office always, or simply go to Opry.com if you're planning a visit in advance and say, hey, I want to get all the stuff done before I get there. Go ahead and do that at Opry.com.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. We got to dress up on Monday. They're going to see us
we gotta
in person.
Clean up after ourselves.
The only bad thing is, and I've already, look, we've got this microfiber down here because I keep seeing handprints on everything, and there's so much glass. And yesterday I went over there because somebody had leaned up against it and there was a handprint, and I'm like, this is going to be our new pastime, is just getting rid of all the handprints with all the glass around it.
I wondered. I hadn't noticed anything until yesterday, and I thought, oh, finally.
Yeah.
I found out something about Kelly Sutton I didn't know. Her thing is that.
I'm not a clean freak. I'm not a clean freak, but when I look up and I see like fingerprints, that's the mom. It's the mom instinct that you know, because your kid had sticky fingers and touched something, and
when
you're
I
like,
saw
over
you
there
after the show yesterday, I just
was
thought,
wiping
that's her
stuff down.
thing. That's her thing right there.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, coming up, we've got a lot to talk about in entertainment headlines. Cody Johnson, the secret to his success. He is on fire right now. We're going to tell you what he says he has been experiencing on the road, which is very, very cool. Plus, he is actually starting his own event. It's coming up in October. It's the Kojo Open. I'll give you the details on that. And Luke Combs celebrating last night at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. His new exhibit is open. We'll give you a little sneak peek as to what you're going to be able to find inside the Country Music Hall of Fame coming up.
And it could be triple digits for the heat index where you are. It's going to be that way for us.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Hey, y'all. National Mojito Day, National Swimming Pool Day, and guess what? It's National 7-Eleven Day and Free Slurpee Day at 7-Eleven, because 7-Eleven is 97 years old.
Is it really?
And you get a free small Slurpee today.
Okay.
And they're partnering with it's the Children's Miracle Network folks that are there. Their hospitals, the charity partner. And there's a special edition cup that they're doing as a part of the 97th birthday with Children's Miracle Network. So that's today at participating, not only 7-Eleven, but Speedway and Stripes stores are also involved, all in the same family under that 7-Eleven umbrella.
Okay, what flavor Slurpee are you going to get?
Oh.
Says a lot about your personality, by the way.
They
so
have
think
cherry.
about
I
it.
haven't had one in so long. Probably cherry or cola. Or cherry cola.
Ooh, okay.
Like the sound of that? You know where you do the mixture? Or remember the suicide?
Oh, you just put a little of every one of them in there? Yeah. Why did we do that?
I don't know.
We did that just to see, like, we wanted to impress our friends. We're like, I'm just going to put a little bit of all of them in there, and then I'm going to drink it. And it always tasted terrible, but we did it anyway.
We did.
I just looked it up because, honestly, I have not had a Slurpee in years. But apparently they have a couple new flavors. One is Mountain Dew Pitch Black, which is like a berry dark citrus punch.
Okay.
And the newest one, and this would probably be the one that I would gravitate toward, vitamin water and zero sugar. Make your vitamins fun. No sugar needed. Grab yourself a delicious dollop of free radical fighting acai, blueberry, and pomegranate.
I can hear somebody just now going, yeah, well, thanks, Kelly. I wasn't planning to be quite that healthy.
Well, I mean, if you think Slurpee, it's just sugar water frozen. So if you can take the sugar out of it, then you don't feel quite so bad. Then it's just flavored water frozen. So
there was a competitor when I was a kid growing up. Now, who had it? But it was called an Icy.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Icy's? Who
Oh,
had
it has
Icy's?
the little polar bear on it. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We had Icy's up in Indiana because we didn't have 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven really wasn't prominent around us.
I'm trying to remember where we got them.
Icy
if there was
machines
a
are all
chain
over,
involved,
right?
or
Icy's corporate headquarters are here in Nashville.
That's
that right?
why.
Yeah.
I was like, why have I seen that logo everywhere?
Well.
Okay. ICEE and the little polar bear with the
red, the blue and red logo stripes.
Well, that's some good marketing that we remember what their logo is, right?
Yep.
Even though we haven't had one in a long time. Well, it's Slurpees today, friends. So go on.
That's what the
Team
studio
Slurpee.
is missing. Either an Icy or a Slurpee machine.
Yeah.
Hey.
Could you imagine how crazy we'd be if you gave us unlimited sugar all the time? That's what I'm saying. If I could get myself a little espresso machine in that kitchenette
right
back
here
there,
between us on the set, on the new set.
We'd be done with this show in 35 minutes. They said it was a 3-hour show. Not anymore.
They're going fast.
They're on espresso. Well, let's talk about our friend Cody Johnson. He is on fire right now. Of course, he's been out touring all over the place, and he's had so many #1 hits. Everything he releases is going to #1. He said, you know what? The secret to his successful career, it's not anything anybody really wants to hear, but it's just sheer hard work and a classic case of reaping what you sow. He's been at it for a long time. Even though if you haven't known about Cody, he's been doing his thing on his own for a very long time in Texas. And he said, now it's really starting to pay off. Listen to what he's hearing while he's out on the road.
For me, this year, I've had so many moments with people singing the words to songs and showing up by the, almost 100,000 all over the place where they're singing the songs, and I'm going, wow, I was the guy that was told I wasn't going to be on the radio.
Not bad for the guy told he wasn't going to be on the radio, huh? What did we say, cowboy going nowhere instead of girl going
That's
nowhere?
it.
That's it.
And now he can buy radio stations if he wants.
Well, even better than that, the one thing that Cody Johnson loves as much as his music is his team roping. He has been a roper for a while, and now he's decided he's going to do the Kojo Open. How fun is this? Kojo Open Team Roping event is going to be taking place October 15th through the 19th at the Cadence Bank Center Arena in Belton, Texas. Entries are now open. Tickets are on sale. It's kojoteamroping.com if you want more information. We said we were going to put together a team. I was healing.
I'm going to head and you're going to heal.
That's it.
And
All
I'm
right.
thinking George Strait and Cody Johnson at least once should team up.
I mean,
I'm sure Cody's got a partner that he works with regularly, and I know George
gotta
does because
say.
George was the first cowboy celebrity to do a rope in country music to do a roping event
Really?
like that. So
that's incredible. I didn't realize that. I knew he did, but I didn't know he was the first
he and his
one.
brother Buddy, his late brother Buddy, started that years ago.
And Ned Ledoux wasn't roping. He was, what did Ned do?
Well, Ned's dad was Chris.
Chris
who was
Ledoux, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
he was a bareback and
There it
saddle
is.
bronc rider.
That was it.
Bareback primarily is what he's known for.
Well, if you want to get in on this, like I said, it's open now. The team format will resemble George Strait's team roping class, which George has had for a while, but this one is Cody's Kojo Open. Love that he's doing that. Congratulations to our friend Luke Combs. He now has an incredible exhibit in the Country Music Hall of Fame. Got open last night and they had a little reception there. So Luke has all kinds of cool things that are behind glass. He and his wife, Nicole, were on hand to look at all of it and tour it last night. He has memorabilia like I think it's his Pooh Bear. Oh, look at that baby Luke. Is that the cutest thing?
It has held up well.
It really has.
Yeah.
Baby Pooh Bear behind the glass. But he also has really cool memorabilia. A lot of his personal effects are in there. A lot of his ACM awards, CMA awards, they're all behind glass. Some of his guitars are there as well. You know, he said it was really emotional just walking through and seeing his entire life now on display. There's a look at Luke last night addressing the crowd that was at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum for the opening of this. Now, if you want to come and see it, it opens officially today and it runs all the way through June of 2025. So you have time, but you can go online and get your tickets. And next time you come into town, stop by and see the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum and check out Luke Combs, the new exhibit. It's called The Man I Am. And of course, he is still out on the road. One of those people that just, I think, is on the road more than he is home. I don't know how many dates he's doing this year, but it's a lot. Reba McEntire has a new sitcom that's happening, and we now have a debut date. It's going to be happening October the 18th. This is going to be on NBC and streaming on Peacock. It's called Happy's Place. So I don't know a lot about it. She did tell me it's not like the show Reba, but it is kind of the same vein where it's all about family and really coming together and very, very funny. And Melissa Peterman is back. She was Barbara Jean on the original Reba, so she is going to be back on this one. And we also know Reba will be singing the theme song. As if you were worried about that. I just feel like we would have all revolted if we didn't hear Reba's voice opening that theme song. So she will be singing the theme song for Happy's Place again October 18th on NBC. It's going to be in the 8 o'clock time slot for Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Central.
Okay, Slurpee Day, 97th birthday of 7-Eleven.
Okay.
So you get a free Slurpee there today. And there are other brands, include Speedway and Stripes. Stripes I'm not familiar with. Speedway, certainly. But I found the history.
Oh.
You know how the bagel was born from a mistake?
Okay.
So here's the background. The Icy was invented in 1958, so that's the year I was born. Omar Knedlik, a Dairy Queen owner in Coffeyville, Kansas. The beverage was the result of faulty equipment in the Dairy Queen that he owned. His soda machine broke, so he started placing bottles of soda in the freezer to keep them cold, and started selling bottles of soda, which would instantly turn to slush when you opened them.
Oh.
And oxygen hit them. It became so popular by accident with the customers that the Slurpee, as we know it, or Icy here in Middle Tennessee, was born. And it went on to say that it was 7-Eleven back in the mid-'60s that bought machines from him. And
Okay.
he already had the Icy trademark. So they came up with a Slurpee.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So Icy was first.
Yeah, and Icy is headquartered, we said Nashville, actually more specifically out near where Zach lives at Laverne,
Out
right?
in the industrial park in Laverne, yeah.
Okay. And what was it you said they have a sign that's...
They've got a big water tank out there with the Icy logo on it. It just kind of hits you in the face when you turn a corner. So it's this huge
Just
water
looks
tank.
like a huge
yeah.
Icy.
Yeah, with the polar
That's
bear
so
on it
cute.
and everything.
Maybe they'll feel cooler today as a result out in Laverne. With
Maybe
these...
they'll sponsor the studio and come in and give us a big Slurpee this Icy machine right behind us. I really like that idea. Seriously.
Oh, we're going to the Grand Ole Opry with Trisha Yearwood here in just a little bit. First, you're going to update us or headline us on the full stories that you got coming up.
Y'all, Lori Morgan's got a new talk show, and I am not kidding. She is going to talk about all of it. The name of it is War Paint, so we'll update you on what the topics will be and where you can find it. Plus, Mitchell Tenpenny has a new album on the horizon. I just saw him at the 4th of July. He was there as a special guest for Chris Young. We'll give you an update on Mitchell's new music coming up.
Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Hey, coming up that night, One the Duo, the mother-daughter, did their debut at the Grand Ole Opry, and then Wendy Moten joined them, and it was a part of a tribute to the Judds. Had a Dream for the Heart. That's coming up here in just a little bit.
I think I was there that night.
Were you there that night?
Yeah. It was
World
pretty special.
Population Day today.
Okay.
And I just showed you off the air just before we came back.
Yeah.
I said, look at that. See that? So the world is growing at an estimated 73 million people a year.
Wow.
So you click this little link, World Population Clock, and it's just going tick, 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 8,121,160, or 8,121,162,338, 339, 40, 41, 42.
Wow. Wow. And how do they know that, though? That's the question. Like, who actually? I don't trust any of that. I feel like that's just, I don't know.
Since you and I started speaking, about 24 people have passed away.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So,
good morning.
don't laugh. We could be next.
If you woke up, congratulations. You're not one of the 24 that just died while we were talking.
So far this year, 32 million plus have passed. So,
Bill Cody, if there was an opposite of a motivational speaker, I think I would give it to you right now.
today, so far, 73,400, right at 73,500 people have been born.
Okay, that's better.
Meanwhile, 60,750 have perished. I like perished. It sounds more dramatic that way.
You really missed your time frame. You would have been such a great news broadcaster, like back in the late 50s, you know, when they loved to really tell you about how people had
John
died.
Cameron Swayze.
Yeah, that's it. Oh my God.
And that's the way it is.
And that's it.
Get it together. You don't have long. And good night for NBC News.
I love that people are waking up and they're just like, what are they talking about? People are dying everywhere.
Yeah.
60,000. Okay.
Good night, Chet. Good night, David. And good night for NBC News.
How about this? Lori Morgan has a new talk show. That should be fun to talk about.
Well,
she's got a lot to discuss.
She's not going out on the road after this year. The Ruby Tour, her 40th anniversary tour, is coming to an end at the end of the year.
That's right. So she is now going to fill her time with a new talk show. It's going to be on the Heartland Network. It launches very soon. It's called War Paint with Lori Morgan. And according to, there it is. Look at that. That's so funny. I love the logo. According to the press release, Lori will invite industry friends and occasionally family members to chat about life on and off the road and dish about relationships, experiences, and share some funny stories. So we have determined 6 different marriages that she's had. So relationships are on the table. We might be getting some of that scoop. Don't know, but you can tune in. The Heartland Network didn't say exactly when it was going to air, but as soon as I find out, I will let you know. All right, let's talk about Mitchell Tenpenny. New album is on the way. It's called The Third, and it's coming out on September the 20th. I just had a chance to see him. He was hanging out with his buddy Chris Young at the 4th of July here in Nashville. So got a chance to hug him, and he said, yeah, I got new stuff that's coming. And then I get this press release. I'm like, yes, I love it when it all comes together. The project is going to include some earlier releases, including Bigger Mistakes, Breaking My Heart, and a cover of the Goo Goo Dolls' Iris, which is very cool. His new single, Not Today, which hits country radio on Monday, will also be included. That's a really cool looking graphic for the front of his album. He shared all of this on social media. Last time that he had an album out was 2022. So yeah, we were due for some new music from Mitchell Tenpenny. You can pre-save it now. The Third will be hitting as soon as it drops on September 20th if you have that pre-save mode on. Cody Johnson out on the road, y'all. He's got a lot going on, and he is really at the top of his game. Right now, not only is he on the Leather Tour, but he's also got some big plans. You know, he said the secret to his success, it's no miracle. There's no real great formula to it. It's just sheer hard work and a classic case of reaping what you sow. He's out on the road right now, and he told us this is what he hears when he's listening to the audience.
For me, this year, I've had so many moments with people singing the words to songs and showing up by the, almost 100,000, all over the place, where they're singing the songs, and I'm going, wow, I was the guy that was told I wasn't going to be on radio.
Not too bad for the guy told he wasn't going to be on the radio. He's had some shows with 100,000 people plus, so he is really killing it right now. Dirt Cheap is currently in the top 10 and still rising. And of course, he had the chart topper, The Painter, that went all the way to number 1. Again, the Leather Tour is currently happening. CodyJohnson.com for more information on tickets there. But he also announced a really cool event that he is going to be opening very soon. It's the Kojo Open. And what does that mean? Well, if you're not a roper, you probably wouldn't understand, but he is going to be doing a team roping event taking place October 15th through the 19th. Tickets go on sale at 10 a.m. Central Time. It's also open for entries. So if you are a roping team and you're like, yeah, this sounds like my kind of thing, you can go to kojoteamroping.com. It's going to benefit the Texas FFA and the Different Day Foundation. That's really cool. It's a charity that Cody and his wife Brandy started. It provides housing, health care, and empowering employment to women who've been victims of sex trafficking in America. He said, team roping has all but consumed my life since 2020. Yeah! Roping is what I do when I get away from the smoke and the lights. So now he's bringing it all together. Again, that's going to be happening in Texas in October the 15th through the 19th. And if you remember, he went to Australia and he was down there just to do shows. And this other guy who is a roper reached out to him and said, hey, why don't you come rope with me? They had not worked together and they end up winning the whole thing. So I'm hoping that the dude from Australia will come and rope in this with him. That would be really cool.
Hey, my money is on Ranger Doug Green
Oh.
and Too Slim of Riders in the Sky.
Okay. You think they got this, huh?
Put up their entry fee if they'll just show up and do it.
How's that work? You pay the entry fee and you split the winnings? Is that how it goes?
That's the way.
So that's what I figured. Okay.
You don't think they were having fun, do you?
Oh, my God.
And they were on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry together last night. That's, of course, Tommy Emmanuel and Michael Cleveland on Mr. Guitar. As you listen and watch all over the world on Coffee, Country, and Cody, WSM Radio, and CircleCountry.com. As Chet Atkins' great niece sits down to visit, and she's been a guest through the years as a solo artist, and with that Jason Coleman in tow from time to time. And it's Meagan Taylor. It's great to see you again.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad to be here this morning.
You were smiling as we were playing that back.
Oh, yeah.
And the I Still Can't Say Goodbye project with Chet Atkins is available now, and Opry Entertainment Group produced the documentary, and of course there's the album and the orange vinyl that goes with that, and a book that accompanies that. So for people who don't know, give us the family tree of how you're related to Chet first, Meagan.
Well, my grandmother, Billy Rose, was about 7 years younger than Uncle Chester, but they were both born in the same bed up in a holler in East Tennessee, and they were all very musical. You know, they didn't have a lot to do other than play music or get in trouble, and they usually did some of both, but that whole family was musical, and my grandmother actually recorded with Uncle Chester in the late 40s. She would have been 17, 18 years old, and recorded with Homer and Jethro and Uncle Chester down in the Fox Theater, Atlanta. And so that's how I kind of came into this, through my grandmother and her relationship to him. And so it's been pretty special to see all this unfold. You know, there's so much music and history that it's just a special thing to get to take part in and remember, you know, and help share with a new generation.
How much time did you get to spend with him?
Well, we were around him. I didn't do music a lot when I was little. My grandmom gave me piano lessons. Like they played kind of a ragtime piano. He did as well. And when I was about 10, I decided I wanted to play fiddle. So he was a great fiddler. She took me over to him, and he gave me my first fiddle lesson, and I played for a few years. But I didn't really get into the guitar stuff. We had East Tennessee Christmas I loved, and Fingerpickers Took Over the World in the late 90s, and various things, and we would go see him. But we really remember at his house with Uncle Chester and Aunt Oni, he had a slot machine that took nickels in the studio in the basement. You know, and so that's kind of stuff we remember. I didn't really realize the musical impact. You know, we just all knew Uncle Chester was one of the greatest guitarists in the world growing up, and we didn't, you know, and still stuff just knocks me over that I hear that he did, you know, still. It's just, you can't ever get to the bottom of all that he did. It was so creative and just impressive.
Did he want you to call him Chester? I noticed you haven't called him Chet.
Well, back in the day, that's what everybody called him, was Chester.
Chester Burton, right?
Yes, Chester Burton, and my son's middle name is Burton after him because it's been such a big part of my life. It's how I met my husband and everything.
Who, by the way, bears a guitar name.
Yeah.
Taylor.
Yeah,
and then you married an Anderson.
Yeah, but I don't have a Taylor guitar. I need to figure that out. But yeah, it's just a special thing to get to partake in and share with the new generation. You know, I love it. I love his music. You were talking about his name. Somebody cut it off. I don't know if it was Red Foley. I can't remember. Somebody decided to call him Chet at some point. But as he grew up, it was Chester. And so then to most of the music world, it was Chet. But our family just called, you know, it was Aunt Oni and Uncle Chester. That's what we called them by. So, yeah.
So when do you remember realizing he's really a big deal? Because I think everybody has that. You have that lore in your family, like, oh yeah, hey, my Uncle Gary, he is something else, and he's the best player in the world. But then when you find out, no, he really is the best player.
Well, when I graduated high school, I was into sports really big and wanted to play in college, and the Lord had different plans for me. I think that kind of came to a close, and I was kind of done. And my grandmom and I don't even know why. In 1999, I had just graduated, and for some reason, we had not gone to this event before. And she said, "Why don't we go out there to see, the cast convention?" And so we went, and I had seen him in shows and stuff, but sitting out there, it was like a door had closed for me. And I watched him, and it was actually the last time he was there because he had a brain tumor by that point. But Tommy was there, Paul Yandell was there, and I got to see them all on stage together. And we just went to the Saturday night show, and a light bulb just went off. And I thought, I need to play guitar. And so my grandma, told him again that I wanted to play, and he was excited I was playing. He showed me as much as he could. And then so many of his friends stepped in, and fans that were out at the convention I got to know showed me as much as I wanted to know. And but it really, from that point, I started to listen to some of the compilations, like the RCA. There's a double box set of CDs, which are, artifacts now nearly, but I would listen to that, and that was a lot of different stuff. But his stuff, I still have not heard all of his music. There's, you can't exhaust it. It's so much.
Well, you talk about the CAST convention.
Yes.
That's the acronym for the Chet Atkins Appreciation Society. And one of the reasons you're here this morning is to talk about this weekend's, 3-4 day event that goes on at the Music City Sheraton?
It started yesterday after lunch, and workshops and concerts. And then in the evening, they have concerts on the main stage. But it's just really cool. People from all over the world, players and fans of his from all over the world, come and do close-ups and workshops, big concerts like gypsy jazz, stuff that influenced him early on. Like the Hot Club of Nashville will be there tonight. That's Richard Smith and Pat Bergeson and different people that are just incredible players. Jason Coleman and I will be there tonight, kind of playing more of the Nashville sound, Floyd and Uncle Chester's stuff or artists that he worked with, or signed.
Cosmopolitan country.
Yes, cosmopolitan country. And our kids are part of that. Also for Jason and myself, our kids all participate, and we're passing it on to the next generation there. But all different kinds of people, solo guitarists, groups. Tomorrow there will be the Transatlantic Trio, and it's 3 guys that are just incredible, and then Tommy will play tomorrow night. And but there's workshops, there's something for everybody. And it's really cool to see now, even though the demographic of this convention has been going on, this is the 39th year of it. It was started, so this lady named Margaret Fields had the Chet Atkins fan club at 1954 to 60. And when that came to a close, there was really nothing for a long time. And I think in '83, somebody picked up that, idea and said, let's call it the Chet Atkins Appreciation Society. And then in '85, they had the first convention. So this is the 39th year of it, my 25th year to be out there. And it's great that demographic has aged over the years, and it's been an interesting transition. But I just saw yesterday families with young kids, or kids my age, my children's age, that are walking around, and it's like, this is cool. People are still discovering his music, or it's been handed down through their families, and so their kids are now walking into it, and you never know whose fire it's going to light, and it's pretty cool. So
I asked him once, "Who's the best, Chet? You the best?" He said, "No, I'm the best known."
Right. Yeah.
Mr. Guitar.
Right, yeah.
Chet Atkins, the Appreciation Society event is on through the 13th.
Yes.
And Meagan, thank you so much for coming in and sharing Chet's story.
Yes.
And this is a request that you made before we got started, to close with Snowbird.
Yes.
And
Happy music.
This is the Anne Murray Snowbird.
It is. I guess she had this out in '70, and he in '74, I think, did this. And I think this song, I was talking to Mark Pritchard, who runs the convention. I think this song has a small representation of nearly every technique he used. It's just awesome. It's just so cool. Yeah, I love it.
You can't wait to hear it.
I could put this on repeat for hours in my car and drive around,